Hey everyone, I am live. I had a bit of a mare trying to get set up and stuff because I was trying to use a different microphone, like one of these big fancy microphones, but it didn't work out. I thought I'd left myself plenty of time, and you know what it's like. As usual, you know, I've left it all to the last minute, and I'm just hitting the live button quite late, so a wee bit flustered. Um, I hope everybody's doing okay. What you all drinking? Has everybody got a drink? I'm actually going to take a drink and just chill out. Just get tea. Oh, let me get the chat in front of me. I think I've got everything that I wanted to have, you know, set up and stuff. Um, Simon said that made me jump. No intro. That made me jump. No intro. What do you mean? Uh, I did the countdown. Did I not? It was definitely there for me. Anyway, sorry, confuse me. Uh, right, let me go through and say hi to everyone. Deanne's here first. Hi, Deanne. I've got Red Wing. Hi, Red Wing. How you doing? Lovely Simon from the Hermit's Cave says he up. Robin from Toadstool Tarot is asking Deanne about podcast drives. Um, let's see. Deanne says not drives, but I often get nap trapped and welcome any links. Um, Janine Barnes is here and says evening all. Uh, Deanne has brewed a fresh half calf for this. Do you know, I don't, unless I just have never seen it, I don't think half calf is really a thing over here. I've only ever heard of it when you guys have mentioned it. Uh, so yeah, like Simon, is that something that you get half calf? Uh, Simon says, I was sat here in silent contemplation, then all of a sudden you came on with hi everyone. Just caught me off guard. Didn't get the count. Ah, right, okay, didn't get it. Right, cool. I wonder if everyone else saw the countdown. But anyway, as long as it started with me saying hi, do you know what I mean? That's the point. The countdown, I think, is I was often missing like the first 10 settings or more of lives, which on the grand scheme of things, I know is not a big deal. But yeah, I guess it just kind of gives me my 30 seconds to kind of get myself ready and it lets us all kind of prepare. Anyway, Davy Jones is here. Jones Davy says hello, long time no see, everyone. Hi there, how you doing? I was thinking about you recently, actually. I think I see you on Instagram. When I look through the stories, yours always pops up. You've normally got something on there. Um, but it's lovely to see you. I hope you're doing okay. Debbie from Aquarius Owls here. Robin says, I'm not drinking a cold coffee. I've got a summer cold and I'm coughing. Right. Um, Back from the vet and made it on time, says Beth from Aspasia Rising. I hope your animal is okay if you were at the vet, Beth. Half calf isn't a thing in South Wales, says Jones. I don't think. Someone's saying hi. Oh, there's Cheryl from Taro Stash is also saying hi. So hey everyone. Hope you're all doing okay. I might take a wee bit longer just to get myself kicked off. Um, as I say, I was just a wee bit flustered afterwards, like when I was just coming live. So, um, you know, that way you just, it's kind of like when you sleep in the morning. Um, if you don't have your usual prep, then you're kind of, I feel, a wee bit thrown for a good bit of the day. So for that reason, I've got a feeling I'm going to be a wee bit of a space cadet during part of this live. Um, there are a couple of things um, I had to chat about. Obviously, we've got our turning the tarot on its head. The theme of which is science. So I'll be interested in your thoughts. But uh, the first thing I wanted to say, and I'm glad he's actually here. Our lovely Gerald from Tarot Stash. I was I noticed this earlier in the week, and I was just looking there. Gerald is at 983 subscribers. So Gerald has 17 subscribers to go before he reaches 1K. Now, I'm not sure whether we're going to bulk it up by 17, but it would be nice to get him a bit closer. So if anyone is watching who is not subscribed to Gerald from Tarot Stash, I cordially invite you to pop over. I'm popping a link in the chat to his channel. Please head over and give him a wee sub. It would be nice to get him to 1K because I think he deserves it. He puts so much energy, so much time and effort into his YouTube channel, and he has some really amazing content. So that's kind of one of my aims for this live is to try and get Gerald a bit closer to 1K subscribers. So please, please, please check, make sure you're subscribed, and have a wee look at some of these videos. Um, Funnily enough, with Robin making that joke about a summer cold, I'm a wee bit sniffly, so if I need to cover up the microphone and sneeze, um, then excuse me. And if I'm a wee bit sniffly, then I'm sorry. Uh, but yeah. So Jones has subscribed. Thank you very much, Jones. That's brilliant. And you're very welcome, Gerald. So this is the last weekend in Pride Month. I am shuffling the This Might Hurt tarot. I should know because I just took it out of the box. But so This Might Hurt tarot is being shuffled, and if we do any readings later on, if we have any time for any readings later, then I'll be using This Might Hurt. So I've been trying this month to use decks that are made by queer creators and that are queer themed. Queer or LGBTQ plus, whatever term resonates with you, you grab it. I just use queer as a kind of a umbrella term, but I know it's not for everyone. So yeah, This Might Hurt is the one that I'm using just now. All right. This Jones is it's mass market and it's actually the French version. So I think I got this before it came out, like the normal mass market version. You can kind of just see the bottom of the box up there. Why don't I just grab the box down and show you the blooming box rather than pointing out the bottom of the box? So this is what it looks like. Kind of like this magnetic flip. The book is entirely in French, but you can use Google Lens if you really want to look at pages, and then the deck itself sits in a separate box within it. So it's pretty decent in terms of the quality of the make of it. The cards are kind of a glossy, so I know that the indie version had like nice matte. I don't think it was rose petal. I think it was matte cardstock. These are definitely more kind of a mass market-y in terms of the cardstock and stuff. I'm not even sure, they might be smaller. They feel as though they're a small deck compared to your usual kind of a run-of-the-mill size. Let's compare it. Yeah. In fact, it may be better if I do it that way. So that's your size comparison. So they are a wee bit smaller, and I don't know if the indie version of This Might Hurt was the same, but still a good deck. It's nice and glidey, so good for like if you like to fan your cards out and pick them at random. Really good for that. Good size for your overhand shuffling. In terms of riffle shuffling, they are a wee bit stiff, so kind of like the with the queer tarot. Um, like if I was to spend if I was to do that quite a lot over the evening, I think my hands would start to hurt. But then I suppose in the same vein, they would start to kind of loosen up a bit. So anyway, this might hurt tarot. I'm conscious I'm sniffling a lot, which isn't um very nice for you guys to watch and listen to. So maybe at some point I will pause this and stick on some music, kind of like what I did last time, and go and sort myself out. But I think we're okay for now. Let me just quickly say hi to everyone else who's come in. So what we had Gerald came in. I think I said hi to Debbie from Aquarius Owl. Beth says the pet's just vaccines that I had to split up into 3 appointments because he's a little spoiled diva. Yeah, so is my dog, and she's really acting like a spoiled diva today. Um, Pamela Batchelor's here, says hi, Chris and everyone. Um, Karina is here. Hi, Karina. How you doing? Lovely to see you. Our lovely Ramon from Moon Scarab is here. Um, let's see. What's someone else? Oh, Cheyenne. Cheyenne's here. How you doing, Cheyenne? It's lovely to see you. All right. So turning the tarot on its head, the theme is science. So the whole premise behind this turning the tarot on its head thing is we often say, I've heard more than one person say the idea of the tarot works because, or the tarot works really well because the tarot is the human experience captured in 78 images, archetypes, cards, whatever you name it. Um, If anybody disagrees with that, by the way, if anybody doesn't think that the tarot captures the human experience, or if that's not the premise behind it, I'd be interested, I suppose, just as a wee aside kind of a discussion point. I'd be interested in, if you've got any strong feelings, is what I mean. I don't want to open up a big debate about it. I just mean like if you've got any particular strong feelings about it in the here and now, I'd be interested to know your alternatives or your reasons why not or whatever. But for the most part, I think most of us agree. I think I'm maybe presuming here, but I think that most of us agree that the reason this thing works well is because it is the human experience captured in 70 images. Now, with that theory in mind, that's a hypothesis, that's a theory we can test. So I can say, right, well, if this really does encapsulate the entire human experience, then anything that I consider to be within the human experience, I should be able to find it in the tarot. The tarot should be able to tell me about that thing. It follows logically. So that was where I started with jealousy. Um, I don't necessarily think jealousy is an easy thing. Jealousy was the first theme, the first theme I did. I didn't necessarily think that was an easy theme to find in the tarot. Um, and that was why I turned on his head. I said, right, okay, if tarot is the entire human experience, then what card or what cards are jealousy? And that's kind of what we've been doing each week. And this week it's science. Science is definitely part of the human experience. You know, so I suppose I should start off by saying that I consider science to be, the analysis of, facts, phenomena, um, you know, stuff through observation, experimentation, like poking holes in things and seeing if they still hold true. That's to me what science is. It's an exploration. It's looking for the truth. Um, I don't think that science knows everything. I think that you'd be hard pressed to find a scientist that says that, the every last scientific theorem has been found and every last equation has been solved and stuff like that. Um, but it fucking knows a hell of a lot. And we all encounter it in some way, shape, or form. So, with that in mind, tell me what cards you think um, encapsulate, symbolize, embody science. Um, I'll just quickly, I know I'm on a bit of a soapbox here, I'm not really meaning it that way, but I just want to quickly also say I know that there is a card in the Golden Dawn system whose title is Science. And anyone who has a Thoth deck will know this, that the Six of Swords is entitled Science in the Thoth, unless I'm misremembering. I'm pretty sure it is. Um, it's interesting because it's not really how I read the Six of Swords, and it's not how, anyone who I've ever observed reading. Usually the Six of Swords is about that journey from somewhere difficult to a better place. Never really seen that as a science card, but I'm interested in a side discussion about why the Six of Swords is science, if anyone wants to kind of make that argument. Um, so, with that in mind, let me know what your thoughts are on anything that I've just said. I'm going to hand it over. Richie from Longman Tarot is here. Hi, Richie. How you doing? And I helpfully left Cheyenne's hello message on the screen so I can easily find my way. Um, Laura is here. Hi, Laura. How you doing? Robin, I would argue that the human experience is captured in the 22 majors, but that may be a discussion for another day. All right, Robin, I am going to challenge you. Then I'm going to restrict you. If that's your point back to me, then I'm going to challenge you. Any theme, obviously, like do it for the 78 pack as well. Um, but if that is true, if that holds true, then any theme that I throw at you, you should be able to find a major arcanum that symbolizes that theme. So far, what have we looked at? Jealousy, pride, freedom, and now we're looking at science. Any of those themes, in theory, you should be able to find that in one of the 22 majors. Now, today we're only talking about science, but maybe it's something for like the comments on a video or something like that. Or maybe it's something you could do a wee VR on if you feel like it. Um, but yeah, I will throw that back at you, back at you, Robin. Um, it's a Western Christian experience. It's a good system to mirror a more general human experience. Okay. Um, oh, you're talking about a deck, aren't you? So Aspasia's name is Beth, Laura. Jones Davies says tarot is definitely a continuous experiment. Uh, Simon says science can only take us so far. Do I agree with that? I think so. Science is like constantly, it's a constant ongoing process, isn't it? It's like anytime there's something new to observe or there's new evidence, you adjust your hypothesis or you kind of so I suppose science can only take us so far as long as the actual experience of the thing or the observation of the thing can only take us so far, is what I would say to that. So yeah, I suppose I'm agreeing with you, and I'm in a way not agreeing. Don't know. I'm doing that annoying thing where I'm being really flaky and not like not giving you a definite answer, aren't I? Talking about that deck, sorry. Apparently, I'm just phoning in on this conversation you guys are having about this deck. What deck is it? Let me just go and find it. Um, right. Robin says, I'm getting to love my Zammer twins. Simon, I can't wait to hear your perspectives, hopefully on a CCNC. So talking about Zammer twins. There we go. Um, let's see. There's where Richie came in. Um, okay, Cheyenne is kicking us off with the Two of Cups. It represents the scientific concept of magnetism. Okay, yeah, okay, I get that. So that would be magnetism, though. What I mean, we can talk about whatever we want, but there's lots that like if we start going into different scientific concepts, then that that could literally take us everywhere and anywhere and everywhere. Um, so I'm going to try and keep to the concept of science itself, to what science is in and of itself. But yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think definitely that um, that attraction, magnetism, the kind of a law of attraction thing is definitely encapsulated in that Two of Cups. Uh, let's see, the Two of Pentacles, balance and magnetism. Magnetism, okay. Um, Science, okay. Beth says Temperance, the Magician, and the Two of Pentacles. Okay, okay. Right. Tell me your thoughts. I'm interested in what you think about. What how would you say this is how these things mean science to me? I think I definitely understand with temperance. Because it's like that idea of alchemy, isn't it? The bringing together of different elements and creating something new, um, balance and moderation and that kind of a thing. Yeah. See, in a more traditional or simple sense, Janine says temperance, getting the right balance, like a formula. Science is a tough one for me to see in Rider Waite Smith, says Robin. Okay. Um, I suppose, like, see, this is why I suppose I kind of like initially discussed what do I consider science to be. To me, science is the search for the truth. It's the search for the answers through observation, experimentation, etc. Um, so yeah, I think the first, I suppose, first in our own minds, we need to kind of be clear about what we mean by science, and then think, right, okay, that's what it means. Well, like what card is that in the deck, or what cards is that in the deck? Um, Richie says watching you from hospital. I hope you're doing okay. I'm assuming that because you're watching Tarot Tube that you're doing all right. But yeah, send them my best wishes, Richie. Um, and definitely let us know how you are. Jones says Eight of Pentacles is scientific as it's doing the same thing over and over and getting the same result. Okay, okay, cool. Um, Beth says I added a metaphysical twist to my interpretation of science. Uh, yeah, sending good wishes to Richie. That's a good one. The Magician, says Janine. Uh, Deanne says, my first thought when you posted yesterday was The Magician. Okay, cool. Um, so The Magician is, I suppose that's to do with this kind of the way I described it was it's all about the interaction, it's the observation, it's the interaction, it's the experimentation, it's the poking holes in things, it's the prodding things to see what happens, in search of the truth, in search for understanding. Um, so that kind of a active taking an active part of that interaction, I suppose, is the magician's part in it, I guess. Um, the lovers is mitosis, says Cheyenne. Okay. Simon says, I had a long drive and thought I haven't seen much of Ramon. I was going to message you tonight. Oh, there you go. I saw Ramon the other night in Gerald's live, but it was nice to see him. I agree. The magician, though he is a good, though is he a good scientist? It's an interesting thought, isn't it? Because I suppose there's kind of a two views on the magician, and like I can crassly like categorize them into like the old Marseille kind of a trickster type magician, and then you've got your kind of a more current magician who's more seen as like a lightning rod of energy. Um, to me, a much more kind of a positive image. So I suppose it depends on how you see your magician, isn't it? Pamela says the scientific method I see is embodied into the Eight of Swords, repetitive, slow, steady work, always building on the method. Right, okay, I like that, definitely. Ramon says, okay, I have to message you to, right, okay, sorry, excuse me, sorry guys. Beth says science can take us infinitely far, but it's slowed down because of politics, funding, biases, and our imaginations. Okay, interesting. Laura says, hey, can anyone tell me where Papa Squirrel went? I'm not sure, but maybe someone else knows. Hi, Malamir, how you doing today? It's lovely to see you. I hope you're doing okay. Um, Gerald, I like Temperance for science. Temperance is the witchcraft card of the deck, so that incorporates science into magic. Okay. Uh, Simon says, I was reading an article a few weeks back where science can't fully explain consciousness, for example. Okay, fair enough. I, I think that's what I was saying at the start. I don't think science can explain everything at this time anyway. I don't think you'll ever meet a scientist who'll say that science does know everything, that every equation's been found or every equation's been solved, every discovery has been discovered. I think scientists would be pretty like dull if that, they'd be pretty bummed out if that was the case. Um, So I think that if we're talking about, the collective knowledge, the collective conscious knowledge that we have right now, if we're calling that science, then I definitely don't think it can take us, we definitely don't know everything. But that's an exciting concept to not know everything because it means there's more to discover. It means there's more to go. I think. Excuse me. So yeah, I think we're on the same page, Simon. Um, Death can represent general biochemical cycles which is how chemical elements required by living organisms cycle between living and non-living organisms as seen in the rebirth concept of that card. Okay, so you're looking at death. That's quite a deep. Let me read that again. Okay, so death. So I was thinking you meant death as in dying. So death can represent general biochemical cycles, which is how chemical elements required by living organisms cycle between living and non-living organisms as seen in the rebirth concept of the card. So this idea of like energy and how it can never be created or destroyed, it's just transformed into different forms of energy. So for example, like we have lots of different forms of energy. We have kinetic energy, which is like movement energy, heat, light, just to name a few. Um, so energy, when we blow something up, um, that's like you've got heat energy, you've got movement, and it's been kind of a converted between, um, and light as well, I suppose. Uh, so yeah, this idea of like kind of everything's just kind of a happening in cycles, everything's just transforming. Definitely kind of I see that as in like the kind of a cycle of energy. Energy. Excuse me, folks. This might be a quick cloud tonight. Um, Laura says, let's throw quantum physics in the mix. Oh, let's not. I think my brain's sore enough without having to think about quantum physics. Robin says, science is not something that I see in any of the 78. However, if you think of science more in terms of metaphysics or alchemy, I'd suggest temperance, justice, and magician. See, that's interesting because I, I mean, I definitely think that science is part of the human experience. If it wasn't, we wouldn't understand the damn thing. We wouldn't be able to like observe things. We wouldn't be able to. We wouldn't have discovered anything. We wouldn't have invented anything. So it's definitely, definitely, definitely part of the human experience. So it must be in those cards. Um, I've just been reading out other people's opinions. So for me, I, I need to concede that how I've described science is very, very general. Like there's lots of grey area there. There's lots of kind of a room for interpretation. And I suppose my correlation to the cards is going to be in a similar vein. To me, I've described science, it's the pursuit of knowledge, it's the pursuit of understanding. And it's testing things in very kind of a like I always seem to grasp this phrase down to earth. But what I'm meaning is like kind of a logical, you know, earthly, like I don't know, it's like the our pursuit of things in a very like physical, tangible, scientific way. Um, so for that reason, and if you've heard me talking about the cards, about the suits, that's exactly how I describe the swords suit. To me, the swords, it's the mental suit, but it's basically our pursuit to comprehending and understanding the world around about us. You know, um, that to me is the essence of what the swords suit is. So for me, I kind of see the swords suit, the air suit in and of itself as being very science related. Now, if you were to kind of like point me to different, you know, I suppose different scientific concepts, different areas of science, then I might pick different air cards. Um, so the swords suit, even some of I would maybe bring in some of the majors as well. I think justice card for me, justice is definitely like to me that's like um the natural laws, Um we are joined by an excited doggo. The natural laws is what oh she just banged her own head, you dafty. Calm down. Um They are all symbolised by the justice card. Um, so justice has got to be in there. Like all things being equal and opposite, to me, the opposite of justice is the wheel of fortune because justice is all things in order, all the kind of a cause and effect, the things that happen for a reason. The wheel of fortune is the other side to that. It's the chaos, the chaotic nature of the universe. It's the the things that don't have a causative uh, a, a begin. What am I trying to say? The things that don't have a causative event, things that haven't been caused by something, they just happen because they happen. Um, so that I would need to bring that in, and then your sword suit. Definitely, like, Seven of Swords is like that's to me that's like observing its the Seven of Swords is all think about the way that you're doing it. Think about the way that you're going about this. If this isn't working for you, then analyze, think about it logically, and try a different way. That's scientific to me. So yeah, that's my very general, broad answer to the conundrum. Um, Simon says after a 3-hour drive across the Peak District, this is hurting my head. Sorry, Simon. Um, Laura, quantum physics is how I think reading works, as in reading cards or reading a book, reading words. I'm taking it you're meaning reading cards, just in context. But I guess we could add yet to everything unexplained. I guess we could add a yet to everything unexplained. Um, and well, I'm not. I think I know what you mean, but I'm not sure. So, and when I is that because I said we don't understand everything, our science doesn't. What is it? I'm not really sure. I think I know what you mean. Oh, Beth said I would add yet. Um, okay. Not sure if I'm picking up what you're meaning. I think Robert M. Place is a great person that speaks to this. His decks speak to me, even though I don't understand it completely, but I'm drawn to his decks and books. Okay, so Robert M. Place. The Alchemical Tarot definitely feels scientific. Debbie would say the Ace of Swords, that spark of an idea, that would lead to the formulation of a theory. Definitely, yeah. Like your swords courts as well, the Page of Swords. That is the coming up with a hypothesis, right? It's that first. Oh, what if this is the answer? What if it's this? What if this is how it works? Your Knight of Swords is the pursuit of that idea, you know. Um, and yeah, I suppose your King of Swords is kind of a coming to that conclusion, working through all of the logical arguments and observations and whatnot. Your queen, the queen is like a superior court to me, which is why I didn't mention her. But the queen is like she's the environment that allows everyone to learn stuff, but she's also the kind of a teacher, you know. Um, Deanne says, Laura, last I seen, Brian of Papa Squirrel had posted in a tarot deck second-hand sale group that he was leaving a potentially DV relationship and probably wouldn't be. All right, okay, okay. I hope he's doing okay. Um, so Beth says, Chris, you mean I have to back up my claims? Oh gosh, am I that far behind in the chat? Temperance, alchemy, the magician blends together to create something new, and the Two of Pentacles is the balance of elements to affect equilibrium. Okay. um, the magician was definitely the first that came to mind, says Debbie. Magician is definitely experimenting with all the tools until one finds a scientific solution to whatever problem. Okay. Magician feels like a Bunsen burner type of guy. Uh, Richie says, "Thanks, Chris. I'm having the Tarot of Oneness surgically doing okay. In for abscess surgery after an op on Saturday. Got all right. Oh, I'm sorry, Richie. Ugh, that's rubbish. I'm sorry that that's happened, and I hope that everything goes well this time round." Um, Malamir liked Jones's comment on the Eight of Pentacles. It's very methodical, like the scientific method, and experimenting based on a hypothesis until you produce predictable, repeatable results. Yeah, I love the Pent Eight of Pentacles, and see in this deck, the Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. Well, question is, can I find it? Um, well, actually, whilst we're talking about science, can we just show the Five of Cups? Is it the Five of Cups? No, I think it's actually the Five of Wands. Um, how's that for scientific? That's an actual chemical reaction that's happening there. Um, that is the Five of Wands. The Five Wands are in the thing that everything's been poured into. Right, the Eight. There's the Eight of Pentacles and the Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. So do you see it's kind of a like perfecting, like they're getting better and better as he does it more and more. So this card speaks to perfecting through, practice makes perfect, essentially, is what this card says to me. Um, that's Tarot of the Holy Spectrum by Chase Voorhees. Love this deck. It is very Rider-Waite Smith. Um, and there's now actually an Infinity Edition. If you've seen this and you didn't really gel with the colours, then check out the Infinity Edition because it's much more vibrant, much more colourful. Okay. So Pamela says, seriously, I didn't mean the Eight of Swords, but the Eight of Pentacles. Right, okay, okay. So you were talking about the Pentacles. Fair enough. Let's see. Three votes for the Eight of Pence. The Eight of Pentacles lacks the intellectual aspect of science for me. Okay. How about the Fool? Science can certainly move forward into the unknown with a total leap of faith. I think we can definitely describe lots of scientists as having that quality, whether that's science itself. I suppose if I'm saying that science is the kind of a discovery of the unknown, then yeah, that's fair enough. Uh, Very true. The exploration aspect of science, says Beth. A lot of scientific work is actual grunt work in order to pursue the unknown and keep searching into the past for answers, says Pamela. Archaeology definitely is grunt work. Good point, says Beth. Trying to type without my glasses, says Pamela. Oh, good luck. Um, Oops. Laura says the Eight of Pence doing the same thing over and over and not getting new and different results sounds horrible. Numerology brings us to 9, which brings new results and culmination in 10, says Laura. Scott Andrews here and says hi to everyone. Hi, Scott. How are you doing? It's lovely to have you here. Pamela says it's just because it takes time and repetition over centuries, sometimes working on the same questions in order to build to a breakthrough. Okay, get that. Um, that sounds a lot like a tarot reading to Pamela. Let's see. Robin says the Eight of Pence is like lining up all of the Petri dishes in the lab and waiting to see the results. Yeah. Um, Karina says, I love the magician from Tarot of the Abyss. He represents all of the elements with harmony and the connection of the sky and the earth. Yeah, the magician is kind of the one that's doing the tree that looks like a tree or doing tree pose or something, doesn't it? If I remember rightly. Um, Scott says, "On holiday for 6 weeks now, looking forward to catching up on all the tarot tube that I've missed lately." Um, a 6-week holiday. Are you a teacher, Scott? Um, Definitely very jealous of you. Uh, Beth says, "Only the fool would think that humans can fly or go to the moon or live in Antarctica." True. Uh, saying 6 weeks, you're lucky thing. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Okay. We've had some. I think the Eight of Pence has maybe been the most popular one. Um, but definitely, I think we've had um, some really good discussions around that. I appreciate that it's a much more vague concept than maybe the ones that we've had to deal with before. Um, so yeah, I suppose apologies for that, but sorry, but not really sorry because I think it in and of itself it's been quite a good discussion point. Um, I'll just remind I've probably got a slightly different audience now than what I had at the start. So if I can remind everyone, if you don't already subscribe to Gerald at Tarot Stash, can I ask you to pop over and subscribe to him? Let me actually refresh the page to see what he's at now. Right, he's at 984, so he's got one more subscriber than when I checked before I went live. Um, so subscribe to Gerald, please, because he's got now 16 subscribers to go till he reaches 1K. So it would be good if we could get him a wee bit closer to that point. Um, oh, thank you, Malamir. How very kind of you. Let's see. Gerald says, "I think complete science includes all of the suits and balance as directed by the majors." So that's a good point. That is a good point. I suppose science in a way is everything, isn't it? If it's the search for truth, if it's the discovery and the understanding of the world around about us, then I mean that is the human experience, I guess, in a lot of ways. Um, Beth says, "And the magician and the majors." Just as scientists now. Laura says, "In the 1400s, astrology was just as highly regarded as science and medicine. Tarot was just as integral at that time. Think of medicine having all of that in his life. Think of medicine on the teacher having all of that in his life." Um, yeah. So, what time are we on actually? Oh, but we're on 10 to 10. Does anyone have any questions that they would like read for? I know that it's a quite a jump to go from talking about science to reading cards, but hey ho, here we are. Um, Let me also quickly just say, sounds as though the dog is chewing something that she shouldn't be. Oh no, she's away now. Um, what was I going to say? I was going to say next week, I believe that Simon and I are going live together for another Cartomancy Cave special for another Throwback Thursday. And we're going to be chatting about Tarot of the She. Uh, so we'll be live on both channels. So definitely check us out. Um, Pop in, say hi, chat about your favourite and least favourite things about Tarot of the She. Uh, and yeah, it'll be good to see everyone there. Okay, Gerald's asking if I created a playlist for this topic. Not really, Gerald, because I've just been kind of doing it as a as a part of my live. Um, I've not been doing it as a kind of a separate thing. It's just been like a wee subtopic in my usual banter and card slinging lives. So I haven't made it a playlist. What I suppose I could maybe do is I could pull them together into a playlist, and I could just, that way you can map out your videos to say like um into chapters, into sections. I could just like kind of a distinguish the section that's the discussion, the turning the tarot on its head discussion. And that way when people are going to the playlist they're relatively easily able to find the discussion. So I suppose that's something I could do, but it's not something I have done so far just because of what I said, because it is just part of the usual live. Okay. Robin, question, tarot deck. How would you speak to me on the topic of on the topic? You're going to make me pull a card for it. Okay, okay. Let's see. So, what card does this deck want to use to talk to us about science? It feels like there's cards trying to fly out the deck, so I'm going to do a wee riffle shuffle just to reset things. Science. Ooh, we've got the Nine of Wands, Neuf de Bâton. So it's interesting though, because if you look at the actual imagery, we've got the nine wands are pens and pencils, and we've got someone who is labouring over. It looks like they might be writing a book, but they're labouring over books and notepads and stuff like that. So this it suggests that what the deck is saying to us is, science is that intense hard work that's been put in by all of the people that have come before us in order to understand the things that we now understand, in order to be able to have electricity, to be able to, um, have toilets that flush, to be able to have drinking water that comes right into our homes. All of the vast number of things, medicine and everything that science has been able to achieve to date, it is the culmination of everyone's blood, sweat, and tears, everyone's sleepless nights, hard work. You even see like the pens chewed there. Let me turn on this light actually, it might make this a bit easier to see. Does anyone else do that where you chew your pens? It's never been something I've personally done, but I've seen a lot of chewed pens to know that lots of people do it. Um, so lots of kind of all hands on deck kind of a type attitude, um, and lots of thinking. That's the thing about this card is he's not exactly engaged in manual labour. It's very much mental. You know, it's mental labour. Maybe that's what science is. It's mental labour. um, let's see. Robin says, "Wow, what a great card! Lots of study and documentation and pursuit of answers. Not what I typically think of in the Nine of Wands." Yeah, it's true. Um, okay, so there was Robbins. Jones says astrology is definitely a science. Speaking as a non-astrologer, um, Debbie had put in a joke question about when she'll be a grandma. I'm loving the pictures that I've seen, Debbie, of the wedding so far. There's a beautiful picture of you and your daughter-in-law. You both look amazing, so you do. Uh, Although you do need to be told off, Debbie, you're not supposed to be outshining the bride. But I do have to say that you look particularly beautiful in that lovely wee dress you were wearing. Um, I think the dog's been put in jail. Um, so yeah, no, yeah, it all looked great, Debbie, and I'm so glad that you've had a good day. Uh, yeah, looking forward to it. So yeah, still on next week. Tarot of the She, be there or be square. Gerald says, I would love insight on an upcoming yes/no decision that I have to make in August. Okay, a yes/no decision, and I don't even get to know what the context is. That's what he's giving me. He's saying I've got a yes/no decision to make in August, and I want to know what your cards think about it. Right, let's see how they choose to answer this. I'm extremely curious to see what's going to happen here. Um, uh, right, okay. Subject. Um, Five of Wands. Um, the advice is the Six of Pentacles, and the outcome is the Queen of Wands. Okay, cool. Um, okay, so the situation that we seem to be kind of a coming up against in August, it's like it feels like there's maybe competitiveness or there's Five of Wands is the kind of a when the fire energy gets a wee bit out of hand. It's not quite like it's not quite caused forest fires yet, but it's like it's the first time you've discovered fire. You're kind of enjoying the things that it can do, and then all of a sudden, oh fuck shit, that stuff burns. It's the first time when we realise actually I need to be careful around this thing. I need to watch what I'm doing. Okay, so it feels like we're getting to a point at that stage where, we've been kind of doing so we've been kind of messing around with something. We've been experimenting. We've been kind of building up to something. In August, maybe you're expecting things to get a wee bit real in August. Um, the Six of Pentacles is your advice card, and I was hoping that would bounce off of the situation card and tell me whether it was going to be like a yes type thing or a no type thing. I feel like the six, if anything, it's going to be very balanced. It's going to be very kind of um, the sixes are about harmony and balance for me. In particular, this six, it's material harmony, material balance. So I feel as though she's kind of on the fence about things. She's not so far one way, not so far another. If you're asking me whether you should jump into this kind of a dogfight, then I think the Six of Pentacles your answer would be no. I probably wouldn't, because your advice is to kind of stay neutral, stay balanced, um, all things in their place and stuff. And um, as well, but you've got the kind of a scales there, right? One goes down and the other one naturally goes up. So you've got to think about cause and effect. So we need to be thinking, right, okay, if I'm going to throw myself into this situation knowingly, then there's going to be a natural, that's the cause. There's going to naturally be an effect. So I need to think about whether, do I want to put myself in that situation? Um, Your outcome that you've got is the Queen of Wands. I suspect, Gerald, that you're going to go ahead and do it anyway. I suspect that I mean, you know the context, right? And maybe you've explained to me a wee bit more here, but um, I suspect that either knowing the context, you will see this as a yes, or you'll be saying to me, I don't need your cards to tell me what to do. If I want to get involved in this shit, then I'm going to blooming well go ahead and do that. Thanks very much for your opinion, but that's exactly what it is. It's just your opinion. I suspect that you're going to go ahead and do this, and I think you're actually going to come out on top. She's the queen of fire. She's kind of the accomplishment. And remember, I said earlier on how the queens represent that positive environment to be able to grow. I mean, this is the five, that conflict, that kind of a like bouncing off of other people, that kind of a is a necessity in order to promote growth. Um, so yeah, and I suppose we could see this as like a movement, a positive movement from 5 to 6, from a difficult situation to the almost like the balancing out of it, the harmony of it, reharmonizing is what I'm getting at. And the Queen is kind of the environment that allows that to happen, that allows us to kind of take the learnings from these situations and move forward with them. But I see you coming out smelling like roses, Gerald, if I'm totally honest with you. I think that you're going to take this as a yes. I think you're going to go ahead and do it, and I think that you're going to come out fine. I've no idea what it is or what I'm talking about, but that's generally how I would see the cards. So yeah, that was a unique challenge, I will say. So thank you for that. Davy Davy, what's going to happen with my parcel? That's an interesting question. What is going to happen with Jones Davy's parcel? The unspecified parcel, or his parcel containing unspecified goods. So we're all just assuming that it's something from Ann Summers now. No, right, I can't be doing that. I can't be joking whilst I'm doing this. Right, okay, what's happening with Jones Davies' parcel? Coming from overseas, Jones? Um, I mean, everything feels natural, you kind of look it up, whatever it is that you've bought, whatever this parcel is. Um, Is it you that's bought it or is it someone else that's bought it? This makes sense more to me if it's you that's bought something and it's something that's coming to you because this is like I'm Googling, I'm browsing online, I buy it, right, okay, well there's the drop in the money situation, and then it travels overseas. So I'm just seeing like a natural progression in terms of like purchasing something. And I suppose you can turn that around and say, well, that still applies if it's the other way about, if it's you that sent something, but it just seems to kind of a correlate more to me if it's you that's bought something. Um, like you've said you've bought it, right? That's fine. I think it's everything seems to be kind of a happening naturally. With that Six of Swords, with and just maybe picking up some of the kind of a Five of Pentacles vibes, maybe there might be a bit of a delay. Because if I was to not give you any context and just show you these two cards, you might think, oh fuck, like there's quite a tough situation, and then I'm moving away from it. So, maybe there is some kind of negative aspect to it in the form of a delay, but the Six of Swords kind of a suggests that, things are moving towards a good place. So again, putting it back in context, it feels like the package is going to where it's meant to be going to, i.e. you. So yeah, I think that um I think that's looking fine. I don't see anything particularly terrible. I would just maybe wouldn't be too surprised if there's a wee bit of a delay. Um, Hope that's helpful. Will science surgery heal my knee? Says Laura. Oh, I just want to highlight this. Cheyenne says, thank you, Chris, for another interesting live stream. Thank you also for the chat, for sharing your thoughts. I have to dash. See you all in the next one. I know you've been gone for ages for now, Cheyenne, but it was lovely to see you. Take care and hopefully see you soon in another live chat. Okay, well, science, surgery, you, Laura's knee. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Is it um, I don't want to ask you to go into, like, any more detail than you're comfortable with. If it's some sort of fusion surgery you're having on one of the, at one of the joints, then that might be why we're seeing this, the kind of, the caduceus itself is the solving coagula. So that solvate coagula, it's things being brought apart and then put back together in the same way that the caduceus comes apart and then goes back together, then comes apart and goes back together. The same with DNA, do you know what I mean? Or like when we observe it, it's coming apart and then it's coming back together. It's moving in that way. So with knee surgery, whether it's like arthroscopy, which is keyhole surgery, or some sort of arthrodesis, which is your fusion surgery. No matter what it is, you're kind of opening things up to go in there. Um, you're doing something. Whether it's healing, like fixing meniscus, or you know things are coming apart and then they're being put back together. This feels like a really kind of again, I'll just say in the context of the question, this feels like a really positive reading. There's no negative cards there. I feel like it's going to afford you new kind of opportunities in a very kind of a physical way. So obviously that's kind of how it's affecting your mobility. We're actually seeing that, the child kind of a galloping about on the dog here, which again speaks to mobility. The sun speaks to heal. The sun is our healing star. We get a lot of vitamin D from the sun, which affords us both physical and mental, emotional healing. So I'm seeing lots of healing here. And then again, that Two of Cups, that kind of a coming together, that coagula kind of a type idea. So I see things, just healing well and coming together well in the way that they're supposed to be. Um, so yeah, I think that's looking good for you, Laura. I certainly don't see anything negative there. Um, if and you're obviously you'll have more context than me. If you've looking at it in context, you're looking at it and saying, "Oh, actually, I'm not sure because of that particular aspect of the facts," then, you know, um, give me a shout. But I feel good about it. Um, Cheyenne Robin says, "Wow, oh yeah, sorry, I saw that, Robin. That was about your Nine of Wands card. So studying documentation, not typically what you think of." Um, and then Jones makes a good point, but it's good for this moment. Yeah. Um, let's see. The Nine of Wands, I think, of putting forth a hypothesis and working it out to defend your stance. Yeah. Sadhna is having her 5-year anniversary live tomorrow, Friday, June 30th. It's Laura. So check that out, everyone. Uh, Deanne says Debbie is a knockout. Agreed. What deck is this? This is the This Might Hurt Tarot. Um, here's the box that I've got, but there's indie versions of this and there's different mass market versions. So you'll probably this is the French edition. If you look for it, you'll probably find a different edition to this. I don't know, Beth. She is Pacific time and usually for Sadhana. Let's see. Thank you so much for the compliments. Not sure I could outshine my son's beautiful bride. Well, you definitely had a good go of it. You were looking beautiful, Debbie. The Gerald's agreeing that his own question was vague. Robin says Gerald's arguments, resources, and following your own impulses. Gerald says staying neutral and balanced, cause and effect, hashtag truth. The Gerald says, "I've been actively avoiding the energy exchange of the Five of Wands. What you say makes sense." Right, that's good. Robin says, "Conflict in your head, weighing out the pros and cons. Queen is driving you to follow your own passion, pushing you to forward regardless," like Chris says. Nikki is here. Hi, Nikki. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you, and I hope you're doing okay. Um, and Robert, I see Robert as well in the chat. Hi, Robert. How are you doing? Uh, I think I've told you what it is, haven't I? It's the This Might Hurt Tarot. Gerald says, spot on. It makes a lot of sense and helps clarify what I've been struggling with as I consider the option. Okay, cool. Um, Beth says, Chris, speaking of parcels, did that deck ever arrive from Deanne that got lost for so long? Um, Oh, that's a good question, actually. So I know I definitely have gotten decks from Deanne a couple of times. I think there was one that just got lost, the very first one that she posted, but maybe Deanne can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think there was definitely one. Yeah, I can see she said there the first one never got there. Um, Joan says Ann Summers would be a shock. Um, there it's there. The first one never got there. Local-ish by post. Okay. Okay. So maybe just sometimes the tarot likes to exaggerate to make its point, you know. So just that idea of like kind of a traveling, getting from one place to another. And that Six of Swords. Robert says Anne Summers is boring. Oh, I could like ask an inquiring question, Robert, but I'll um I'll behave myself whilst we're live on the internet, shall I? For once. Let's see. Thank you. I'll update you next week. Okay, brilliant. And then Chris has just channeled the junior doctor. Is that when I was talking about the knee? There are 5 different problems with it. Thanks. Beautiful. Okay, good. Thank you. You're very, very welcome. I'm glad that it resonated and it was helpful. Robert's saying hi, very late coming on. Okay, I've reached the end of the chat. It's best not to ask, Robert says. This is YouTube. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't want to be getting strikes and all that kind of a thing, you know. Um, okay, if no one has any other questions, then what I might do is pull a card for everyone for the weekend, and I'll leave it there. Um, but really enjoyed tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you for, all of the discussion, particularly in my very vague uh, concept this week of science for the discussion. So it's been good. It's been great. I've enjoyed it. And thanks as well for all of the questions that yous have popped in for the cards. I've enjoyed it tonight. Okay, let let's see. Let's get a card for everyone for the weekend then. Chariot. That's come up a few times recently, hasn't it? Um, okay. Chariot for me is all about balancing those different things that we've all got on. All of us have got multiple aspects, multiple facets that make up our lives, that make up the stuff that we do, the stuff that makes us us. And that's both in the outer world, like like things like our job, our home life, family, that kind of thing, our friends, our personal lives. Those are different aspects, but then internally as well, mentally. Like we've got lots of different kind of things going on, lots of different ideas that we wrestle with in our heads. Then we've got the different how we feel about things, or our emotional selves. All of these different kind of layers, all of these different things that come together. Um, Now, when you say it like that, it just seems so complex, and yet, like every one of us has gotten to this point. Um, so we're all managing it, and we kind of do that with this energy. It's the energy of the chariot. It's she's balancing the different things that she's got to balance, and she's using, our judgment, our free will, the scientific method, whatever it is, she's using it to drive herself forward to get herself from A to B. Sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes, if it's the horses, sometimes one of the horses goes a wee bit, we lose control of it a bit. And if it kind of overpowers both the overhorse and the chariot itself. In this case, we don't have horses, we've got motorbikes. So sometimes, kind of like we might rev up one of the motorbikes a wee bit too much, more so than the other. And, before we know it, we're doing the splits. We all have those moments. I don't think there's anyone who can say that their entire life to this point has just been plain sailing. But I think it's how we react to those moments. It's how we learn from them and react to them, and how we get back up and kind of drive ourselves on. Um, so yeah, I suppose that's just some food for thought. I, the way that I put that across there, it feels as though I'm being quite negative. I mean, the chariot is not a negative card. It's a victory march. That's what the charioteer's doing. That it's the idea is we're celebrating the fact that we've got this far, we've got to this point. We've gained control over the two motorbikes, or we've gained control over the different aspects of our life. So I suppose as much as it's about that idea of having that control and maintaining it, also like being thankful, and praising ourselves a wee bit, giving ourselves a bit of a pat in the back for the fact that we have been able to do so well. We have been able to kind of just wield those different things in our lives, in a way that positive, that in a positive way, I guess. So, yeah, major vibes for the weekend, major arcana vibes for the weekend. Um, so I hope that everyone does have an amazing weekend. It's the last, well, actually, no, tomorrow's the last day in June, so the weekend is actually not Pride month anymore. I was going to say it's the last weekend of Pride, but that was last weekend. Um, but yeah, I hope you all have a really good weekend. Um, Let's see. You're welcome, Beth. Thank you so much for being here. Jones, science didn't feel fake. It felt fun and thoughtful. I'm glad. I'm glad. Um, Let your drive carry you through this week, says Robin, but make sure that your direction is clear. Jones says, I don't want to do the splits in that position. I need to keep things straight on. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. I don't think that yeah, there's people that can do the splits and do it very gracefully. I am certainly not one of them. Thank you, Scott. Thanks for being here, and thanks to everyone for being here. Hope everybody has an amazing weekend. Take care, and I shall see you all later. Bye bye.